Chapter 51. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Live broadcast room, Pirate King Roger, ha ha ha, little Buggy is here, we must rescue Shanks, Kaido, ugh, it's worthy of being the world government. The throne was originally established for fairness and justice, but I didn't expect someone to sit on it, Big Mom, Momomo, I really want to see the faces of the kings of the member countries at this moment. Whitebeard, I really didn't see the red-haired kid wrong, Doflamingo, he the Fergaland clan, the blind swordsman smiled, the ridiculous world government, a gathering place of darkness, corruption, and ignorance, they have long betrayed their original intentions. As the video was broadcast, the Void Throne was completely exposed to everyone's vision. For a time, the whole world began to discuss this matter. Ordinary civilians didn't feel much about it because it was too far away from them, but the major member countries, the Navy, etc., could not accept it immediately. Assholes! How dare they do that? Jean Guo was furious, Vice Admiral Tsuru sneered, a dictatorial regime, dictatorial justice, how can there be fairness? Make plans early. Garp said disdainfully, picking his nose, Alabasta. So, is that the case? Cobra trembled as he walked towards the underground palace step by step, and took out a letter from an extremely secret place. I finally understand everything, Holy Land Mary Geos. Assholes. Damn live broadcast room. They even exposed such a thing, the angry roar of the five elders was almost heard from the Red Earth continent, Panga City. Among the flowers, the towering figure was motionless, and the eyes that looked down on the world flickered, as if thinking about something, new world. Well done. Shanks lowered his eyes slightly, with a smile on his face, you are worthy of being another me. The live broadcast is still going on. Bucky. Why are you here? No. You hurry up. The moment he saw Buggy, Shanks was so excited that he couldn't say anything. The joy on his face was about to appear, but he took it back the next second and prepared to let Buggy leave here quickly. Asshole. Buggy glared at Shanks with his eyes slanted, I have never been nosy in my life, but every time I meet you, nothing good has happened. But you. Shut up. Do you think I can escape now? Shanks was silent. If he was the only one here, he would die. As early as when he learned his identity, Shanks consciously thought of this day. But now, he actually implicated Buggy. This made Shanks feel extremely guilty. You are. Nasu Sholang frowned and looked at the person who came, the trainee of Roger Pirates, Buggy the Clown. Ha! It's me. Ha! The Green Saint, who was holding a sword with one hand, let out a long breath and said contemptuously, another untouchable has come, so let's get rid of him together. Boom! As soon as the Green Saint finished speaking, the terrifying sword light came in front of Buggy. Ting! The crisp sound of the sword rang out, but it was Shanks who also swung a sword to block Buggy. I won't allow you to hurt Buggy. The terrifying sword energy burst out from Shanks' body crazily, pointing directly at the Green Saint, your opponent is me. Same, sooner or later you will die. The Green Saint had no expression on his face, and slashed down with another sword. Duong. The moment the two swords crossed, the terrifying domineering chi wave rushed straight into the sky, and the entire holy land of Mary Joa began to tremble wildly. Really? I don't think so. Shanks was not to be outdone. He cut open the long sword of the ancient paladin of Grimm and swung Griffin to slash from top to bottom. After being blocked by the opponent, the two sides stalemated for a moment. People in the old times often regarded age as capital for strength. And now. It's time to wake up from your dream. God avoid. Shanks, who was slightly crouching, shouted violently, and made a slashing gesture with his right hand. In an instant, the black and red sword chi wrapped with domineering color burst out from Griffin, directly hitting the ancient saint of Grimm back several steps. Is this the move of that pariah? The ancient saint of Grimm looked very unhappy. I'll warn you for the last time. I will never allow you to call Captain Roger like this. Bang! The two swords collided fiercely again. Snort. The first generation of Kitetsu slowly unsheathed, looking at Buggy the clown. Nasu Sholang said disdainfully, the remnants of Roger. It's time to die. Really? 6 flying knives flashed with cold light and appeared in Buggy's hands. Boom! Nasu Sholang slashed down with a sword, and suddenly, the frost sword energy condensed into a sword arc and shot straight at Buggy. Shattered into pieces and peeled off. Crack, 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 the sword energy split in two and shattered. But the next second, a faint voice sounded behind Buggy. Have you forgotten the existence of this old man? Buggy was about to react, but suddenly felt an extremely powerful force condensing behind him. Roar. A terrifying roar like a beast mixed with the domineering aura instantly burst out from the mouth of the Wakuri Saint, turning into a red sound wave, madly impacting Buggy's body. Shattered into pieces and shattered. Crack. The space collapsed, and dense cracks spread all over Saint Vachuri's body from his feet. The sound waves disappeared without a trace in an instant. Puff Baki, with blood constantly flowing out of his mouth, was about to move, and the sword energy of Saint Nasu Sholang attacked him again. Shattered into pieces, peeled off and reassembled. The sword energy shattered, turned into fragments and condensed again, shooting directly at Saint Nasu Sholang. Then, Baki condensed the armed color, punched out with his backhand, and collided fiercely with Saint Vachuri's fist. With a bang, Baki was punched away and hit the wall of the hall, and another mouthful of blood spurted out. Beast-like power. Baki was shocked and silently looked at Saint Vachuri's body, which was short but contained great power. What a bunch of weirdos, and... Shanks, you bastard, are fighting alone. At least send some people over. Even if I'm stronger than you, it's too much for me to face the 5 elders alone. Healing. Seeing that the wound on Buggy's chest was healing quickly, Nasu Sholangshin frowned tightly. Could it be the ability to split? Smart. Boom. As soon as Buggy finished speaking, the entire power hall suddenly shook, and at the same time, countless rubble, pillars, instantly condensed into a huge fist and smashed towards Nasu Sholangshin. But there is no reward. Is split into pieces and reassemble the body. Puff Buggy's body disappeared, and then split into 2 identical Buggies. At that moment, the entire power hall collapsed, and the huge rocks in the sky gathered on the body of the clone Buggy, turning into a rock giant, punching Saint Vachuri on the head. Boom. At this moment, the power hall of the Holy Land was gone. Chapter 52. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pirate King Roger, Skokichi. Buggy is awesome. Oh, of course Shanks is pretty good too. Red-haired Shanks. Why does it sound so forced? Pluto Rayleigh, this move of God's evasion already has some of your style. Roger. Sachi, kill all those pigs of the world government. Kaido, ugh, on this point, I'm with red hair. Big Mom, Momomo, that's right. Grim, right? I remember him, back in the Valley of the Gods. Shiki the Golden Lion, humph. They're just some old immortals. The live broadcast is still going on. Bang! Vachuri Saint was knocked away by Buggy Titan's punch and fell heavily to the ground, but he jumped up again the next second, with no signs of injury at all. You can actually develop the superhuman split fruit to this extent. Nasu Sholang looked at Buggy deeply and said in a deep voice, another uncertain factor. Today, let's all stay here. Roar. A deafening roar resounded throughout Marihoa. For sharp fangs were like spikes, and the whole body was covered with spots. Surrounded by black flames, the animal-type, mythical beast-sealed form of Vachuri Saint was completely transformed into a beast. Die. Nasu Sholang Saint's sword energy was crisscrossing, and he came to Buggy in an instant, and the frost sword energy slashed straight down. Buggy was about to split, but he heard the angry roar of Vachuri Saint behind him. You want to deal with 2 5 elders with your own strength? It's a fool's dream. With a bang, accompanied by the explosion sound of Buggy's giant being smashed by Vauchuri Saint's punch, two extremely terrifying domineering colors instantly surrounded Buggy. One in front and one behind, firing at full force, madly attacking Buggy's mind. Not only that, the sword energy and the giant fist also fell on Buggy at almost the same time. Bang! Buggy exploded instantly and disappeared without a trace. Dead? Saint Vorchuli frowned and murmured. Shattered into pieces, shattered. A cold voice sounded behind Saint Nasu Sholang. What was just blown up was just a clone of Buggy. Crack, 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 dot, in an instant, dense white cracks spread all over Saint Nasu Sholang's body. At this moment, even the space began to distort. Damn it! Saint Nasu Sholang swung his body and struggled desperately to stop it, but his mouth was already bleeding. Saint Vorchuli saw this and wanted to help, but was blocked by Shanks on the other side of the battlefield. Ancient Saint Green, what are you doing? Saint Vorchuli was furious. Humph! You dare to be distracted when fighting me. The scolded Ancient Saint Green showed displeasure on his face, and a sudden sword directly slashed Shanks hundreds of meters away. On the other side of the battlefield, under the power of the split fruit, the space continued to split and shatter until it shattered into an extremely small node. You are dreaming. Saint Nasu Sholang, whose body was infinitely twisted and suppressed to the extreme, roared to the sky, his body began to expand violently, and his mouth emitted an inhuman roar. Boom! A giant skeleton horse about 10 feet high suddenly appeared, and the black flame cloud was also surrounded by the body. It was the animal-type mythical beast, horse bone Saint Nasu Sholang. Did I poke the nest of the mythical beast? Buggy couldn't help but smile bitterly for a while. Another clone. The skeleton Manas Sholang looked at Buggy coldly. Humph. No matter if he is a clone or not, you will know after killing him. Fengshi Wochuri Saint had a grim smile on his face. Boom! Fengshi Wochuri Saint stomped his right foot on the ground fiercely. Suddenly, the ground shook and the huge body rushed towards Buggy like a cannonball. Split into pieces and peel off. However, just as Buggy stretched out his hand to use his ability, Fengshi Wochuri Saint suddenly disappeared from his sight and came to his right side at a speed that was difficult to see with the naked eye. He did not have time to react at all. With a brutal collision, his fangs pierced Buggy's waist fiercely. Buggy exploded again, obviously it was another clone. Fengshi Wochuri Saint sneered, I want to see how many clones you have. Here. Suddenly, Nasu Sholang Saint, who had been keeping his eyes fixed on the entire battle, finally found Buggy and laughed wildly, die. The shock wave mixed with frost burst out instantly, and once again smashed Buggy's clone into pieces on the spot. Shanks, Shanks, you are such a bastard, this time I was really screwed by you. In an unknown corner, Buggy smiled bitterly. What Wochuri Saint said was right, Buggy's clones, although the clones are useful, they are not infinite. At the moment, Buggy really has no clones to use. He, I found you. The strange laughter of the skeleton Manas Sholang Saint sounded, and Buggy didn't even look at him and punched him back. Crack! The space collapsed again, and Nas Sholang Saint was immediately knocked out, but Fengshi Wochuri Saint had already arrived. Untouchables. Ants. This is the fate of you who want to challenge God. Bang. Baki, who had no more means to use, was punched away and fell heavily to the ground. His whole body was as terrifying as a bloody man. And next to him, Shanks was also knocked away. The brothers looked at each other and saw bitterness in each other's eyes. Humble people cannot be forgiven. Boom. A huge sandworm surrounded by a black flame cloud rose from the ground. It was Shepherd 10 Pit Saint in the form of the animal-type mythical beast-type Mongolian sandworm. The dignity of God must not be lost. The piercing cry resounded through the sky, and the giant snake bird soaring in the sky said contemptuously. It was Marcus Maz Saint in the form of the animal-type mythical beast-type Izuma 10. The light of history will eventually go out, and you will be forgotten forever. Said Zygalushia Satan Saint in the form of the animal-type mythical beast-type Ushioki coldly. The final judgment, begin. Although he was in a mess, Green Ancient Saint still maintained a proud attitude and slowly raised the knight's long sword in his hand. I'm sorry, this time, I've implicated you. Looking at the sword of judgment rising above his head, Shanks said guiltily. Shut up. Buggy rolled his eyes. Ha ha ha. Shanks laughed loudly upon hearing this, and put his last bit of strength into Buggy's arms. Well, it's not bad for us brothers to die together. Bullshit, do you think I'm a fool like you? What do you mean? Humph. I don't want to die. You mean? Shanks' eyes widened suddenly. That's right. It's just what you think. Buggy's mouth corners rose, and his eyes unconsciously looked towards the sky in the distance. Listen. Listen. What do you want me to listen to? The voice stopped abruptly, Shanks' expression froze instantly, and he looked at the distance in disbelief, the direction where the drum sound came from. He heard it. This is the drum sound of liberation. Note, thank you brothers for the gift. The third update is here. Chapter 53. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Big Mom, all of them are extremely rare mythical beast fruits, Momomo despicable world government, you really can't underestimate them. Whitebeard, oh does the red-nosed kid have a trick up his sleeve? Did he call for reinforcements? Kaido, the sound of the drum of liberation. What is this? Sand crocodile, he actually, I care more about what is Nika's will. Mogami Mariah, Roger, that bastard must know. Pirate King Roger, ha ha ha, I knew it. I knew it would definitely appear. Well done Shanks. Holy Land Marihoa. At this moment, when the five elders heard the drum of liberation in the video, they looked like they were bereaved, with shock in their eyes. Damn it. He actually showed up. Straw Hat Boy, we can't let him go. Is this fate? Nika's will. Kill him? No. What if Nika comes early? Wouldn't we be doing something stupid? Then we'll imprison him and let that person deal with him personally. But that person's order. I can't care about that now. The live broadcast is still going on. This sound is. Suddenly, after hearing the drum of liberation, the five elders all changed their faces. Humph. Since he's here, we don't have to look for him anymore. Let's get rid of him together. Yes, that person must think so too, really. The bullet wrapped in the color of armed forces tore through the air, rushed into the battlefield at a very fast speed, and hit the body of the skeleton Manas Sholang. You want to kill my captain, bastards, have you got the consent of my red hair pirates? Ben Beckman, with a cold face and a gun in one hand, appeared on the battlefield, and behind him were all the members of the red hair pirates. Red hair pirates? Fong Shiwochurishin grinned, how dare you show up in front of us? We are not the only ones. Logi Lu laughed strangely. The five elders changed their faces when they heard this, and immediately looked into the distance. It's time to get to know each other. World government. The howling wind swept across the sky and the earth, and in the eye of the storm, a tall figure slowly fell. It was the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Dragon. Behind him, Sabo, Krau, and many members of the Revolutionary Army, all descended on Marihoa at this moment. Revolutionary Army. It's you. Sandworm Pit Shing exclaimed. Fire Fist. Boom. The terrifying flames shot from the sky in an instant, engulfing all the five elders and others. It seems that this is the final decisive battle. Hawkeye slowly descended, and his sharp eyes like an eagle swept across the battlefield, and said lightly, Red hair, remember to buy me a drink afterwards. As time passed, Marco, the blue fat man, Zoro, Sanji, the straw hat pirates all arrived. Ha ha ha, happy laughter echoed in the sky, and the earth kept undulating, like rubber filled with weird elasticity, Shanks. I'm here to save you. Human fruit mythical beast Nika form Luffy, finally arrived. Under the terrible momentum, there was a kind of frivolous weirdness, with flame-shaped hair rising up, and smoke clouds like steam streamers surrounding the body, and happy laughter kept coming into the ears of the five elders. Asshole. The demon Satan Saint was furious. What on earth is the Navy doing? They actually let these pirates break into the Holy Land. Ha ha ha, really? Garp, wearing a Navy justice coat, came to the battlefield with a big laugh, picking his nose and saying strangely, Akainu, that bastard is still hesitating, so I just came here early. As he said that, Garp glanced at the red-haired man in the pool of blood on the ground. Asshole Shanks, when this is over, I will settle Luffy's account with you. Stop talking nonsense, do it. Kazan, with his hands in his pockets, exuded a burst of cold air all over his body, staring coldly at the five elders. Garp. Kazan. What are you going to do? The five elders were furious, and their whole bodies were shaking with anger. The arrival of the pirates certainly made them angry, but as a vassal of the Navy, they were so angry that they vomited blood. Even if Kazan had left the Navy long ago. We are doing justice. Fujitora strode into the battlefield with a cane and sword in hand. It is a blessing to be blind. There are too many dirty and despicable people in the world that are hard to bear to look at. I cut off my own eyes and joined the Navy just for justice. But I didn't expect that the world's evil was behind it. Fujitora cried out, this is my deep sin. Today is the time to cut it off. Say more, Wui. Let's do it. Bang! As soon as Fujitora finished speaking, Garp rushed up first and laughed, I've been fed up with you bastards for a long time, and I'm going to hit you five old immortals. It seems that the leader of the legendary Knights of God is not as strong as the legend says. Hawkeye held the knight in his hand, across his chest, and blocked the ancient Saint Green. The ancient Saint Green was about to sneer and refute. He's mine. Zoro shouted and slashed down with a sword first. Hawkeye. Ahahaha, Luffy laughed and blew his fist, smashing it hard at Fengshi Wochuri Saint, dare to deal with Shanks, this time I will definitely beat you up. By then, just like the battle in the Valley of the Gods many years ago, the entire Holy Land of Marihoa will be completely plunged into chaos. Shanks looked at Buggy in disbelief. How did you do it? Humph. Do you think I'm as stupid as you, and dare to come here without any assurance? Buggy raised his head proudly. Perhaps knowing that he would most likely suffer on this trip, Shanks told Beckman everything in his conjecture about the Void Throne before leaving. After meeting Buggy, Beckman immediately exposed the news to the world through the newspaper of the World Economic News Agency, which is why so many people came. You are indeed worthy of it. Shanks smiled, stood up, and looked at Buggy with a sword in hand. Can we fight again? Of course. I am much better than you. Boom. Instantly, the terrifying Conqueror Haki gushed out of Buggy and Shanks, covering the sky and the earth, and the sky and the earth changed color. Raising the supreme sword 12 Works Griffin, Shanks crouched down slightly and slashed with a sword. God dodge. The two shouted in unison. Bang! The black and red sword arc containing the power of double Conqueror Haki burst out instantly. The opposite skeleton Manas Shulangshing was about to resist, but was directly torn into two halves by the sword arc. Dragon Claw, breaking breath. Sabo, who found the opportunity, jumped high and pressed a claw on the head of the skeleton Manas Shulangshing. Suddenly, accompanied by bursts of dragon roars, the head of Manas Shulangshing split open with a click. Emperor. The blazing fireball was like the sun, lifted high by Ace, and fell, completely engulfing Saint Nashowling. At this moment, the five elders were completely dumbfounded, looking at the skeleton horse on the ground in disbelief, shocked. Saint Nashowling is dead. No. This is impossible. Assholes, how dare they? How dare they kill God? Although they didn't believe it, the fact was in front of them, Saint Nashowling was really dead. For a moment, the remaining 5 elders, together with the ancient Saint Green, couldn't help but feel a deep sorrow in their hearts. Death. In the past, this word was too far away from them, and they didn't care at all, but now, they can see it clearly. If they continue to fight, they will really die. My lord! Are you there? Saint Vorchely screamed loudly. Swoosh! As soon as the words fell, a terrifying black tentacle appeared on the battlefield like a sword, tearing through the air. Baki, be careful! Shanks exclaimed, and desperately pushed Buggy away. Puff! The black tentacle pierced Shanks' chest, drew an elegant curve in the air, and looked at everyone from a distance. Chapter 55. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding! Parallel World Comparison Number 001 Buggy Comparison begins. Pirate King Roger, is it the Buggy from our world? Sand Crocodile, humph. Compared with the parallel Buggy, the Buggy from this world is simply a waste. Red-haired Shanks, hahaha not necessarily I believe in Buggy. Video starts playing. In the Battle of God Valley, Buggy as an infant was found by the Roger pirates and became an intern with Shanks. At the age of 12, Buggy participated in the Battle of Wool and fought against the flying pirates of Golden Lion Shiki. At the age of 13, he fought against the Whitebeard pirates for 3 days and 3 nights. At the age of 15, in the East China Sea rogue town, he witnessed the public execution of Pirate King Roger. In the same year, after parting with Shanks, Buggy came to Orange Town, established the Buggy Pirates, and lived a muddle-headed life. Until, one day, he was defeated by Straw Hat Luffy who had just set out to sea. Pirate King Roger, ah. Is that all? You can't even beat little Luffy who just went out to sea. Mogami Mariah, chi I've long said he's a waste. Kaido, they're both Buggy, why is there such a big gap? Pluto Rayleigh. The live broadcast is still going on. In 1520 of the sea calendar, Buggy accidentally entered the mine cave of the Navy's secret base while searching for treasures. He was arrested and imprisoned in Impel Down. During the war at the top, Buggy fished in troubled waters. With his superb acting skills and his identity as an intern in Roger's Pirates, he gained the admiration of a large group of criminals in Impel Down and joined them. Since then, the strength of Buggy's pirates has skyrocketed. After the war, Buggy was invited by the world government to become one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Sachi, even someone like Buggy the Clown can become a Shichibukai. I suddenly feel that the content of the Shichibukai seems to be a bit watered down. Sand Crocodile. Mogami Moria. Hawkeye Mihawk, In the year 1522 of the Sea Circle calendar, the World Conference ended. The King of Alabasta and the King of Dressrosa both proposed that the world government finally issued a meeting decision to officially deprive the King of the Shichibukai of his status. Marshal Sengoku, what? The system of the 7 warlords of the sea is abolished. Blind swordsman Ishiao, it's a relief. Sakaski, at Ishiao, join the navy. You must have seen the future, Admiral Fujitora. Kaido, ugh, it seems that the future sea is very interesting. Big Mom, Momomo just a bunch of lackeys controlled by the world government. Flame Disaster Gene, without the protection of the 7 warlords, the navy will probably turn around and attack them. Pirate Queen Hancock, humph. Don't forget why I and others became the 7 warlords of the sea. Hawkeye Mihawk, interesting. I haven't felt nervous for a long time. Sachi, strange. The King of Dressrosa proposed it. Doflamingo abolished his own identity. Sand Crocodile, it's obvious that the future King of Dressrosa is going to change. Dressrosa, in the dark. King Riku. No. Mingo lowered his head and thought silently, Navy. Could it be that blind swordsman Ishiao? No, if the future does not change, he is the admiral of the navy, and he will not attack me without the order of the world government. Could it be? Ming Ji's eyes flashed with a guess. Straw Hat Boy. Holy Land, Marihoa, the 5 elders were already confused. What do you mean? When did we say that we would abolish the system of the 7 warlords of the sea? Even if we want to abolish it, it will be a matter of the future. What does it have to do with the present? Seeing the war on the top, Roger is about to be resurrected. Without the power of the 7 warlords of the sea, what do you want us to do to fight the pirates? Live broadcast room, you clearly don't want my world government to live. The live broadcast is still continuing. Because the system of the 7 warlords of the sea was abolished, the Buggy pirates were surrounded by the navy. The arrival of Crocodile temporarily resolved the crisis. In the same year, Hawkeye Mihawk and Crocodile established the Cross Union. Because the Union members admired Buggy too much, they printed Buggy's face in the center of the poster, causing the world government to mistakenly believe that Buggy was the real leader of the Cross Union. Not only did they increase the bounty for him, but they also certified him as one of the 4 emperors of the New World. Ding! Parallel World Comparison, Buggy number 001 has finished playing. The cold voice in the live broadcast room resounded in people's minds, but no one noticed, just because, everyone's eyes were all on the big wanted poster in the video. In the photo, Buggy is tall, with his arms outstretched, and his ferocious face makes everyone who sees him shudder. The bounty is as high as 3.189 billion Baileys. The 4 Emperors of the New World. Buggy the Clown. In an instant, everyone in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded. Kaido the Beast, 4 Emperors? Just him? Sachi, even people like Buggy the Clown can be the 4 Emperors. Suddenly, I feel that the title of the 4 Emperors doesn't seem to be that powerful. Whitebeard. Big Mom, asshole, what did you say? Pirate King Roger, ha ha ha, it's you, Buggy, you're laughing to death. Pluto Rayleigh, should I say it's a coincidence? Or is it because of good luck? Impel down. S-Country 1. Captain Buggy will become one of the 4 Emperors in the future. Ah. Isn't this a coincidence? Bullshit. Lord Buggy is a fool who is very wise and deliberately hides his strength. Haven't you seen that even the world's greatest swordsmen Hawkeye and Crocodile have become cadres? That's right, get out, our Buggy pirates don't need stupid guys like you. From today on, Captain Buggy, you are my god. Listening to the worshipful cheers of the criminals. Buggy blinked and stared at his wanted poster in the video in amazement. 4 Emperors? The clown Buggy, actually became one of the 4 Emperors. Buggy was completely dumbfounded. After a long while, he patted Lao Sha's shoulder and said earnestly, did you see Lao Sha? You are destined to be a cadre of my Buggy pirates. Lao Sha's face suddenly looked as ugly as if he had eaten a fly. As calm as he is, he couldn't help but swear secretly at this moment. This is really outrageous. Ding! The big comparison of parallel worlds begins. Comparison character, number 002 Monkey D, Luffy, Navy chapter, starts. Ole wow! He is the man who will become the Navy King. East China Sea, Windmill Village, Port. Time flies. 3 bastards, good job. On the coast, looking at Luffy, Ace, and Sabo who have grown into teenagers, Garp was moved for a moment, laughing to cover up. Ha ha ha, I'll go first. You 3 guys must report to the Navy headquarters in half a year. I know, Grandpa, you have said it countless times. Luffy said expressionlessly. Old man just likes to nag. Ace pouted. That's right. You still treat us like children. Sabo's nose turned up. Pa! Garp put his big hands on Ace and Sabo's heads, rubbing them vigorously, and scolded with a smile, 2 bastards, is this how you talk to your grandpa? It hurts, it hurts. However, as he spoke, Garp's eyes turned red involuntarily. Okay. I'm leaving. Garp, with a tear in his eye, turned around and boarded the Navy ship with his justice coat waving in the wind. Luffy, Ace, and Sabo were shocked and saluted together to bid farewell to the Navy heroes. The next day, Windmill Village. Okay, let's go. Luffy picked up his bag and looked at his 2 brothers. Ha ha ha. The damn old man is finally gone. The sea, adventure, and travel are waiting for us. Ace was very excited. Sabo's speechless hands clamped Ace's freckled face fiercely. Stop, stop, stop. Ace, restrain yourself, we are going to travel all the way until we arrive at the Navy headquarters to report. Why do you say it as if we are going to be pirates? Woo-woo. Is there a difference? It's a big difference. Sabo's hands are more powerful. Giving a cold look to the two little kids, Luffy held his forehead and said, you guys continue to play, I'm leaving first. Damn it, Luffy, you want to sneak away again. Wait for me. Windmill Village, Port. Luffy, who was about to board the ship, was suddenly patted on the left shoulder from behind. Again. Luffy was speechless and habitually looked to the right. Sure enough, a delicate and pretty face came into view. He, I heard you're going to be a marine. Nami asked coquettishly with her hands behind her back and a smile on her face. Yes. Take me with you. I want to go too. No. Luffy refused mercilessly. Nami hearing this, she puffed her lips in anger, why not? Belmere has agreed, and she used to be a navy, so I can be considered to have inherited her beliefs. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Live broadcast room, Kaido, damn, it's Straw Hat Boy again, Vice Admiral Garp, ha ha ha. Did you see that? My grandson is going to be a marine, Admiral Akiji. Straw Hat Luffy, ha ha ha, so interesting, not only Ace Sabo, but even Nami wants to be a marine, Sanji, will we all become marines next, Chopper, huh? Am I going to be a marine? Then will my bounty be? Nami. Stupid Chopper, there is no bounty in the Navy, Sky Island, Visalia. I really envy you, the me in the parallel world. Facing the breeze, Nami lay on her back on the grass, staring at the sky through the gaps between her fingertips. Belmere's smile came into view, as warm and kind as it was back then. Luffy. Nami jumped up, put her hands on her hips, and a smile appeared on her charming lips. Even in different worlds, they are trying to save me. After a long stretch, Nami clenched her fists. I should cheer up, right? My captain of One Piece, Impulse City. The criminals looked at Ace with a strange look in their eyes. It was as if they were looking at a traitor. Someone whispered to Buggy, Lord Buggy, you must be careful of this guy, he is a navy in the parallel world. Buggy was so angry that he laughed. Bullshit. I killed the 5 elders in the parallel world. Little guys, continue the attack, and make sure to release all the criminals in Impel Down. Ah. Navy headquarters. Ha ha ha, I'm happy today, come, I'll treat everyone to a drink. Garp's face was red and he laughed. I didn't expect that my 3 grandsons would become Navy. This is really, great. Hey, with a long sigh, looking at the tears flashing in the corners of his old friend's eyes, Sengoku walked to Garp and patted his shoulder hard. Mr. Garp, you are wrong, it's... Puff. Garp picked up the bottle he had just opened and immediately stuffed it into Akiji's mouth. Shut up. Don't disturb my interest. The live broadcast is still going on. Although Luffy disagreed very much, Nami still stubbornly got on the ship and kept provoking the other party. Luffy was helpless about this, because he had 2 brothers who pitted his younger brother. That night, on the sea, a group of people specially held a party to welcome Nami's arrival. Ha ha ha, Nami, come drink. If I were you, I would never invite her. Luffy looked at his 2 brothers with admiration. What do you mean? A moment. Nami is so awesome. Bang. Ace, with a red face, fell weakly on the deck, and soon, Sabo followed him. Hey. Luffy. What? On the deck, holding a bottle of wine, Nami faced Luffy with a smile. Why does Luffy want to be a marine? But, maybe. I want to change something. Luffy, who was dizzy and drunk, murmured in a low voice. Is it the fate of someone like me? Maybe. Come on, Luffy. I believe in you. Nami smiled like a flower and drank the wine in one gulp. A week later, East China Sea. Sabo frowned and looked at the sea chart. Have we been to this place before? I don't know. Luffy had no expression on his face. Stupid Sabo, have you forgotten the Aritar pirates? Oh, then where should we go now? Go away, let me do it. After looking at the sea chart in silence for a long time, Ace stopped talking. 3 idiots. Nami snatched the sea chart in anger and immediately found the correct sailing direction. Nami's country 1. East China Sea, Shields Town. Pirate hunter Roronoa Zoro. Nami frowned. He is not a pirate, why was he captured by the navy? I heard that he was captured because he saved a little girl from Colonel Monka's son, Biromaber, and killed the other party's wolf. Sabo recalled the information he had just received. Ace sneered, Humph, this Monka is as hateful as Colonel Mouse. Are you pirates? Looking at the corpse of Colonel Monka on the ground, and then looking at the 4 people who were walking away after untying him, Zoro couldn't help but ask loudly. Humph. Who wants to be a hateful pirate? We are the Navy. Nami raised her eyebrows and said disdainfully. Because of the dragon pirates, Nami had a lot of malice towards pirates, and of course the Navy as well. Unfortunately, under the influence of Luffy, she slowly changed. Navy? Zoro was dumbfounded. He looked at Monka on the ground, and then looked at Luffy who had just punched Monka to death. Are the Navy so fierce now? Kill just because the colonel said so? Do you think you are a Navy admiral? Wait. Zoro rushed up to stop the 4 people, since you are the Navy. Why did you save me? The 4 people immediately looked at Zoro as if he was an idiot. Hey Luffy, is this guy a brain? Nami whispered. I assent at the Navy's duty to save people. Zoro's face darkened immediately. He heard every word. There are good and bad people in the Navy. Don't worry too much. Luffy nodded and turned to leave. No. Zoro was anxious immediately. He never wanted to owe people a favor for nothing. Luffy's nonchalant look made him very uncomfortable. What do you need me to do in exchange for saving me? So. Luffy turned around and said calmly, what if I let you join the Navy? A famous pirate hunter in the East China Sea, if such a man doesn't join the Navy, is he going to degenerate into a pirate? Zoro was speechless immediately, his expression was hard to describe. I fell into such a miserable state, don't you know who hurt me? If you don't want to, forget it. Ace patted Zoro on the shoulder and laughed, I didn't like the Navy either. I wanted to be a pirate. Pirate hunter is not bad. No. Swish Zoro roared and pulled out the Wado Ikemonji in his hand, pointing directly at Luffy. Tell me your name. Monkey D. Luffy. I. Roronoa Zoro. Zoro suddenly shouted, my goal is to become the world's #1 swordsman. Defeat me with swordsmanship, then I will recognize you and join the Navy with you. Leaving Shimatsuki village, Zoro, carrying the will of his senior sister Kuina, secretly vowed to become the world's #1 swordsman. He traveled and practiced all the way and had already seen all kinds of things in the world. The hypocrisy of the Navy and the brutality of pirates were all in his sight. However, Luffy in front of him gave him a strange feeling that he was out of tune with the world. He is ruthless but compassionate. He will not force others to do anything even if they have done him a favor. Is this a Navy, that he doesn't know if his choice is right, but he believes in his own judgment? Luffy. Will you be the one who changes me? Okay. You will definitely become a Navy. Luffy said firmly. Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Live broadcast room, Straw Hat Luffy, wow. This is bad, Zoro is going to be a Marine, Zoro. Sanji, humph. I've been annoyed with the green algae-headed guy for a long time. Chopper, Zoro, don't leave us, Usopp, will I be the next stop? Parallel Luffy is so scary. Nami, defeat Zoro. Does Parallel Luffy know swordsmanship? Pluto Rayleigh, ha ha ha. Interesting, the live broadcast is still going on. Swordsmanship duel. Ace was stunned, but Luffy doesn't know swordsmanship. Pirate hunter Roronoa Zoro is famous for his terrifying swordsmanship in the East China Sea. Sabo thought, I'm afraid Luffy will be in trouble. Don't worry. Taking the long sword that Nami found from somewhere, holding it in his hand, Luffy made a few chopping movements, which made Zoro frown on the opposite side. You've never learned swordsmanship. Zoro didn't want to take advantage of him. I can wait until you're familiar with it before dueling. But Luffy said confidently, no need. Okay. Go ahead. Gotcha. Zoro's three-sword style suddenly took shape, and his beast-like eyes stared at Luffy. Bang! In an instant, Luffy moved, stepped forward, raised the long sword in his hand high, and slashed down at Zoro's almost dull eyes. Zoro was almost dumbfounded. Such a crude swordsmanship is simply a shame for a swordsman. Zoro dodged Luffy's attack in an instant with his body slightly bent. The sword flashed and passed through the opponent's waist. Unfortunately, in terms of reaction ability, Luffy was better. His free left hand pressed down the Wado Ikemonji and punched Zoro in the waist. Bang! Zoro was knocked out by a punch. Zoro. The faces of the three people watching the fight suddenly darkened. What kind of sword duel is this? It's clearly a fist fight. Pirate King Roger, ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter, Luffy is so funny, red-haired Shanks. Seeing his confident look, I thought he would. Hawkeye my hawk, farce, Luffy. Nami clenched her fist in anger, this is a sword duel, idiot, okay. Luffy put one hand behind his back, indicating that he would not punch again. Bang! For a moment, sword lights crossed on the battlefield, and Zoro's three swords came out at the same time, drawing sword shadows, and attacked Luffy frantically. Luffy, who was fighting with only one hand, was naturally overwhelmed. His body kept dodging the sword light. At the same time, he was silently observing Zoro's every move. Cut, slash, chop, stab, sweep, and the orderly steps made by Zoro's feet were all remembered by Luffy. Gradually, while dodging, Luffy occasionally began to counterattack. Did you learn it now? Zoro's heart tightened, and the sword light became more and more dense. However, as time passed, Luffy gradually realized the swordsmanship and became more and more handy. His feet kept moving in an orderly manner, looking for the gap when Zoro drew his sword. Finally, Luffy slashed with a sword. Ting! The two swords crossed, and the terrifying air wave spread wildly. Zoro retreated several steps and was slashed away. Amazing comprehension, is this really your first time holding a sword? Zoro asked in disbelief. Luffy nodded, his eyes thoughtful, obviously realizing something again from the sword just now. Hearing this, Zoro's eyes suddenly changed, and his aura suddenly surged at this moment, and the three swords were posed in a cross position, pointing directly at Luffy. If you can defeat me with this move with the sword, I will completely recognize you. Come on. Putting the sword across his chest, Luffy said coldly. Three swords flow, boom. Amazing sword energy exploded in Zoro's body, and he shouted angrily, Demon Slash. Facing Zoro who was rushing with a sword, Luffy closed his eyes in an instant, and the long sword in his hand made a slashing gesture involuntarily. That's the feeling, he saw it. One sword cut out. Boom. The red sword energy flashed with amazing light, brushed past Zoro's body, and slammed into the ground, leaving a huge sword-mark groove. Three people watching the fight. Zoro. Good Luffy, you said this is your first time holding a sword. You are so cunning, you are pretending to be me, right? I'm willing to admit it. Although he didn't want to admit it, looking at the horrible sword mark on the ground, Zoro nodded helplessly, I will join the navy with you. Okay. Luffy, who always had a blank expression, finally smiled. Sekuniichi. Luffy, you are now an amazing swordsman. Nami hugged Luffy's neck excitedly, her pretty face full of excitement. No, compared to the sword, I still prefer to use fists. Zoro's face darkened, and he directly put the sword on Luffy's neck and threatened loudly, asshole, I will challenge you to a sword fight in the future. You must be a swordsman. Zoro was very angry to be defeated by a man who didn't want to be a swordsman with swordsmanship. Okay. Let's set sail. Ah, let's go, target. Where is the target? Nami. Nami couldn't help but hold her forehead, it's Zilyobo village. Oh, Ace said excitedly, I remember, Usopp, the child of Usopp from the Red Hair Pirates is there. Stupid Ace, didn't we solve the Black Cat Pirates there together 3 years ago? You can even forget this. Sabo said weakly. The three brothers are all directionally challenged, and only he is slightly better. Fortunately, Nami was brought along, otherwise, the consequences would be disastrous. That night, in order to welcome Zoro's arrival, everyone got drunk again. Nami was still the best player of the game and killed the whole team. Pirate King Roger, first time holding a sword. Little Luffy is actually a swordsmanship genius. Usopp, I suddenly have a bad feeling, the claws of Parallel Luffy have reached me. Sanji, Green Algae Head is a dish, he actually lost to Luffy in swordsmanship. Straw Hat Luffy, ha ha ha. I said I am a swordsman a long time ago. Zoro, humph. You are almost there, you perverted chef. Chopper will never be a navy. New World. Navy. Jesus' face was as black as charcoal, will I be arrested by my own son in the future? Ha ha ha, Jesus is so pitiful. I was arrested and thrown into prison by my own son, the live broadcast is still going on. Navy Headquarters, Marineford. Mr. Garp. Vice Admiral Ghost Spider pushed open the door of the Marshal's office and said unhappily, your grandson has killed another Marine branch colonel. Ahahaha is expected of my grandson. Garp was overjoyed when he heard this. Mr. Garp. Ghost Spider was angry, and his voice was unconsciously louder, he is not a navy yet, how can he kill navy generals at will? And this is the second navy colonel he has killed. Don't worry. Sengoku, who was eating senbei slowly, waved the latest document in his hand. After killing people, that kid reported all the crimes of the 153rd Navy Branch Monka to the headquarters. I have to say that your grandson is excellent, Garp. Vice Admiral Mamasaji, this is a just act, Luffy did the right thing. Vice Admiral Huashishin, but this doesn't conform to the Navy regulations, right? Sakaski, humph. As long as it is for justice, why not? Akainu expressed his admiration for Luffy's ruthless methods. East China Sea, Zybro Village. Usopp. Be a navy with us. Ace and Sabo hooked Usopp's neck on the left and right, expectantly. Ah. Navy. Usopp, who was smiling just now, changed his expression and backed away. No, I'm sick. I just got a disease that will kill me if I become a navy. Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Puff. Nami couldn't help laughing. Ace also laughed and said unhappily, Usopp, you kid, can you come up with such a lame excuse? It's okay, you don't have to be a marine. Luffy waved his hand, showing that he respected Usopp's choice. After that, after staying in Shilua village for 2 days, Luffy and his party set out on the journey again. Goodbye. Everyone waved to Usopp who was standing alone on the coast. Boom. Usopp's heart trembled violently at this moment, looking at the backs of everyone walking away, as if he had suddenly lost something in his heart. A vague feeling of loss arose spontaneously. Parting is always silent. Usopp recalled what Sabo said before leaving just now. Finally he couldn't help but yelled, "Hey! We'll meet again, right?" Unfortunately, his voice was blown away by the sea breeze, and no one responded to him. Bang! The string in his heart broke instantly, and before he knew it, tears had already burst out. No, wait for me. I want to go too. Although he didn't understand why, Usopp just felt that this farewell, maybe we will never meet again in the future. Ha ha ha. I said Usopp, you will definitely come. Ace was overjoyed. Sabo, well done. Zoro held the bottle of wine, with a smile on his face. Nami bumped Luffy's shoulder and joked, don't be so tense, Luffy, you are also very happy, right? Luffy. Live broadcast room, Nami, it's over, even Usopp has betrayed, Usopp, he actually, I think it's not bad for me to be like this, Chopper, don't worry, Nami, I will never betray. Zoro, the next one will be the perverted chef. Sanji. East China Sea, restaurant on the sea. Bang! The leader of the Creek pirates, Creek, known as the overlord of the East China Sea, was punched in the head by Luffy and killed on the spot. His subordinate, the demon Akin, wanted to avenge Creek, but was killed by Ace. On the other side of the battlefield, Zoro, who vowed to become the world's greatest swordsman, officially challenged the world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye Mihawk, to a sword duel. Bang! Sanji was kicked by Chef Zeph and flew in front of Luffy. Take him with you. No matter what you want to do, be it the Navy or the pirates, take this brat with you. Zeph said in a deep voice. Luffy did not answer, but looked at Sanji. Although the contact time was short, he felt that Sanji should not be interested in this. Sure enough, Sanji desperately refuted and said that he did not want to be a Navy. Asshole. The furious Zeph kicked Sanji hard in the chest and shouted angrily, do you want to stay in a small place like the East China Sea for the rest of your life? What are you afraid of? Answer me, Sanji. Sanji was silent, tears flashing in his eyes. Go away, I don't need you anymore, go join the Navy. Go see the outside world, go find your dream, all blue. Finally, Zeph said lightly, be careful, don't catch a cold. Completely defeated Sanji's psychological defense, knelt on the ground and cried loudly, your great kindness, I will never forget it. For a while, everyone sighed. On the other side of the battlefield, in the sword duel where Zoro risked his life, Hawkeye won a great victory and was shocked by Zoro's tenacious will. Surpass me. Roronoa Zoro. In Hawkeye's shouting, Zoro cried and his belief in becoming the number one swordsman became more and more firm. Did I tell you to leave? Just as Hawkeye was about to leave, Luffy stopped him and said coldly, you want to just walk away after you hurt my companion. You want to avenge him? Mihawk looked at Luffy calmly. Zoro challenged the world's greatest swordsman, I won't refuse. Luffy slowly grasped the long sword and held it flat in front of his chest, but he is a like-minded companion I personally invited. Now he has been injured by you, I can't just sit back and watch. Boring. Hawkeye glanced at Luffy, turned around and prepared to leave on a small boat. Ding! In an instant, the crisp sound of the sword suddenly rang out, echoing between heaven and earth. The terrifying domineering color continued to burst out from Luffy's body out, surrounding the body, emitting crackling red thunderbolts. Is it really boring? Luffy's cold voice sounded behind Hawkeye. After fighting Zoro, Luffy learned a lot. In the 2 months of travel, under Zoro's coercion, he also practiced swordsmanship silently, and now he has learned more from Hawkeye's swordsmanship. This is how this sword was forged. Boom! The moment the sword was slashed, a giant black and red sword arc appeared out of nowhere, pointing directly at Hawkeye. And Hawkeye, who has always been calm and indifferent, has a little more brilliance in his eagle-like sharp eyes. Come on! Hawkeye shouted and stood up, drew out the Black Knife Knight, one of the 12 supreme swords, and also met it with a slash. Bang! The sea surface rolled, the sea water poured back, and raindrops fell all over the sky in an instant. Navy. Hawkeye raised his mouth, I'm waiting for you. Live broadcast room, red-haired Shanks, this, isn't this Captain Roger's trick? How did Luffy, Pirate King Roger, little Luffy is so awesome, Pluto Rayleigh, I don't know about other aspects, but in terms of swordsmanship, Parallel Luffy is indeed better. Straw Hat Luffy, Zoro, did you see it, Zoro? Kaido, the Straw Hat Boy in the parallel world is so perceptive. Big Mom, Momomo that's it, Big Mom, who has been called a monster by the world since childhood, will never admit that he is a bastard Straw Hat, Grand Line, Drum Kingdom. During the journey, Nami was seriously ill and urgently needed a doctor's treatment. Luffy asked the others to stay on the ship and wait for him, while he carried Nami on his back and climbed up the 5,000-meter snow mountain to find Dr. Doriel. In the castle. Chopper from Sri Lanka. You are amazing. You cured my illness so quickly. Nami, who was feeling a little better, excitedly grabbed the hands of the little reindeer in front of her and kept praising it. At the same time, Nami glanced at Luffy and winked at him without leaving any trace. Luffy understood immediately and stared at the little reindeer without blinking, expecting it. Chopper. Do you want to join the Navy? Chapter 59. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Asshole, who are you talking about as a good doctor? Me. Hey. Chopper's madly twisted body suddenly stopped, blinking his big watery eyes, looking at Luffy in disbelief. Navy? Hey. Me. Are you inviting me? That's right, Chopper. Nami smiled happily, you are so good, you will definitely be an amazing Navy in the future. Asshole. Chopper cursed shyly, his body began to twist wildly again, and his little hands immediately covered his face. Damn it, even if you deliberately praise me for being good, I won't. Are you telling the truth? Yeah. Nami and Luffy nodded at the same time, their expressions were as real as they could be. But I'm just a reindeer that no one wants. No, Chopper, you're great. But Dr. Doriel will definitely not agree to my joining the Navy. It doesn't matter. Tell me, Chopper, do you want to go? At this moment, Chopper put down his hand, and his tender little face was full of hesitation. Live broadcast room, Nami, it's over, even Chopper has fallen. Chopper, ah. Bastard, damn Luffy and Nami, deliberately used nice words to coax me. He. Frankie, humph. Frankie, will never be succumbed, because this is, super, unfortunately, no one believed him, what? You want to take Chopper to join the Navy? Listening to Luffy and Nami's request, Dr. Doriel was shocked and pointed at Luffy and said in disbelief, Walpo was clearly captured by you. Will the world government let you go? Luffy waved his hand indifferently and said, yesterday, an extremely bad pirate invasion occurred in the Drum Kingdom. Reserve Navy Monkey D. Luffy and Nami learned about this and arrived in time to defeat the pirates and save the Drum Kingdom. Unfortunately, King Walpo was eager to love his people and fought the pirates to the death, but he died accidentally. Ah, this is really a sad thing. Nami echoed with a sad face. Darth Doriel. These two guys won't lead my Chopper astray. 3 days later, when Nami was completely healed, the few people were ready to leave and continue their journey. Dr. Doriel. I will never forget you. I will definitely become a great Navy. Looking at the doctor standing quietly in front of the castle, Chopper shouted desperately. On the deck. Sabo widened his eyes, Navy doctor. Chopper is a doctor. Sugoi. Ace was so happy that he lifted Chopper high, what a cute reindeer, Chopper you are awesome. Sanji, to welcome Miss Nami's recovery, let's have a party. Zoro, I want to drink. Nami, yes, drink. Luffy, don't try to escape. Luffy, who was tightly hooked by Nami's neck. I'm really scared of you. At night, on the deck. Bang! The 8 people slammed their feet heavily on the buckets, facing the strong wind, and shouted their dreams loudly. Sabo. I will definitely change the world in the future. Ace. I will definitely become an amazing man in the future. Nami. I will definitely become a navy as powerful as Belmere in the future. Zoro. I will become the world's #1 swordsman in the future. Usopp. I will be a brave navy soldier in the future. Chopper. I will definitely develop a panacea that cures all diseases in the future. Sanji. I will definitely find all blue in the future. Luffy. I will definitely become the king of the navy in the future. Drink. Luffy, don't try to escape. Damn it, don't force Chopper to drink. In this battle, Nami still played the best of the game and the whole team was wiped out. Live broadcast room, Pirate King Roger, hahaha. Navy King, I want to laugh when I hear this title. Marshal Sengoku, humph. As long as Luffy is qualified and capable, what's the matter with being the Navy King? I can afford it. Kaido, ugh Sengoku, you old guy, don't you take the world government seriously? Straw Hat Luffy, what a familiar scene. Nami. The live broadcast is still going on. Half a year later, Marine Headquarters, Marine Ford. Newcomer. Name. Monkey D. Luffy. Port Gas D. Ace. Sabo. Okay. The lieutenant commander in charge of the new Marines reported in, waved his hand lightly, let's go to the square to gather first. After taking the 3 away, the lieutenant commander picked up the teacup and was about to take a sip, but his body trembled suddenly. Wait, what was the name of the boy just now? Monkey D. No way, could it be? The lieutenant commander rushed out the door, but saw that under the seagull symbolizing peace and justice, the 3 boys and a group of people were striding towards the square. Bulu Bulu in the marshal's office, Sengoku answered the phone. What? That bastard is here. Bang. Jean Guo rushed out of the door angrily, muttering in a low voice, you daring brat, I will teach you a lesson. In the headquarters square. The leading naval commander looked at the thousands of new soldiers below and said loudly, this year's naval selection is different from the past. There will be 100 people in a group, and only the strongest in each group can be taught by the former Admiral Zephyr himself. I hope you cherish this opportunity. With the advent of the Great Pirate Era, the Navy headquarters also began to gradually make changes to cope with this change. Led by Zephyr himself, the Super Navy team named by Marshal Jean Guo was officially established. As the thousands of new soldiers on the square were divided into groups of 100, the naval commander gave an order, let's start. Boom. The melee began. Boom, the terrifying domineering aura exploded in the center of the square, and countless new soldiers fell to the ground. Even the Navy generals on the high platform could not escape the pressure of the aura and fainted on the ground. Is this Roger's son? Sengoku, who had just arrived at the square, was stunned when he saw the domineering aura bursting out of Ace's body. Boom. However, the next second, another domineering aura that was not weaker than Ace's domineering aura appeared out of nowhere and defeated the soldiers in the same group one after another. Is this Sabo? Another grandson of that bastard Garp? Sengoku muttered to himself, but the next second, he seemed to think of something and immediately looked for Luffy's figure. Boom! In an instant, the black and red aura swept the whole place, and countless soldiers fell to the ground with their eyes white. Sengoku was completely stunned, and he opened his mouth wide and couldn't say a word for a long time. Monster, monster. All 3 grandsons of that bastard Garp are monsters. At the same time, on the battlefield, Nami's figure kept shuttling among the crowd, her arms covered with armament hockey, and she used the Navy 6 styles that she had already mastered without any flaws. After a while, she was the only one standing quietly among the soldiers in the same group. Sanji and Zoro also did the same and both won the first place in the same group. Chopper is a doctor and does not participate in the battle. Usopp, who originally planned to participate in the Super Navy class selection, was dissuaded by Luffy early and chose the Navy Science class selection. Chapter 60. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Live broadcast room, Pirate King Roger, what? All three of them have Conqueror Haki, Kaido, humph. What a bunch of disgusting brats, Big Mom, Momomo I in the parallel world will definitely twist off their heads, Pluto Rayleigh, looking at this scene, I always feel a little weird. Red-haired Shanks, actually, I feel the same way. Watching Luffy wearing his straw hat and participating in the Navy selection, Shanks felt so weird, Flamingo, he damn straw hat boy, at this time, Mingo was more and more certain that the person who would defeat him in the future would be a straw hat, D-clan. Bastard. I will never let you go. Young master. At this time, in the darkness, Tolibal, a cadre of the Don Quixote family, slowly came over, knelt on the ground and said in a deep voice, "We found the blind swordsman Xiao." What? Ming Ge's face changed instantly when he heard this. Did you find the blind man? Yes. Didn't he find him? Absolutely not. That's good, immediately withdraw the people who were following him. Unfortunately, before Ming-gu could say the word withdraw, Tolibal said excitedly, "Young master, don't worry, just now, I have sent people to capture him. It is estimated that you will see the damn blind man soon." Humph. Dare to humiliate my young master, even if he is a blind man, he must die. Looking at Tolibal, who was full of pride below, Ming-gu felt his scalp tingling and his whole body was not feeling well, hysterically said, "Asshole. Order everyone to come back immediately, and let this matter go." Ah, Torbol was dumbfounded, wondering if there was something wrong with his ears. "Young master, we won't kill him." "Are you stupid?" Ming-gu yelled angrily. "That blind man is the blind swordsman Xiao, the future admiral of the navy, Fujitora, who can summon meteorites with a wave of his hand." "Kill? What do you want me to kill with? Didn't you see that he dared to kill the 5 elders in the parallel world?" For a moment, Ming Ge's forehead was sweating. Moby Dick, looking at the parallel ace releasing the terrifying domineering color in the video, Whitebeard frowned and hesitated. "You say, have I been too indulgent to Ace all along?" The white group looked at each other and fell silent. "Well, it seems so." Marco hesitated, in fact, he was also very puzzled. They were both Ace, so how could the parallel Ace awaken the Conqueror's Haki? Ace had awakened the Conqueror's Haki when he was very young, but the Whitebeards didn't know, and Ace didn't show the Conqueror's Haki later. Hey, if Ace had the Conqueror's Haki. Vista murmured, "I guess he wouldn't be caught by Teach." Yes. He wouldn't be publicly executed by the Navy. Stop talking. Marco interrupted hurriedly. Everyone immediately reacted and looked at their father. Sure enough, Whitebeard's face was as black as charcoal, with an expression of doubting life. White Island, Baldigo, Revolutionary Army Headquarters. Sabo. Before going to the Navy headquarters, you must master the Conqueror's Haki. Looking at Sabo, who was excited and ready to set off, Long said indifferently. What? Sabo was shocked and quickly retorted, "Chief, you can't force me to do the same just because you see parallel Sabo has dominant Haki. There is no room for negotiation on this matter." Long was merciless, "It's all Sabo. If he can do it, why can't you?" Sabo. Damn parallel Sabo, the live broadcast is still going on. Those 3 brats are Garp's grandsons. On the high platform, Black Arm Zephyr looked at Luffy and the other 2. Yes. He killed 2 Navy colonels in 3 years, and the Drum Kingdom of Walpo also died in his hands. The 2 colonels deserved their punishment for oppressing civilians and colluding with pirates, but King Walpo was not. Don't say this kind of nonsense. Zephyr waved his hand, his eyes flashing with a strange color. The next test of the three people is cancelled, and it is directly approved. Marshal's office. Hey, these are my three grandsons, come and meet them. Luffy, Ace, and Sabo stood awkwardly behind Garp, but they didn't dare not come, otherwise they would have to taste the fist of love. This is Marshal Sengoku, and this old guy Yuri, welcome, just treat me like a grandpa. Warring states. Damn Garp, you ruined my martial filter. This is Vice Admiral Tsuru, come on, call me grandma. Three people. Vice Admiral Tsuru, Garp. Hey Zayazuru, don't be angry. This is Akiji, Akainu, and Kizaru, recognize them all. Everyone twitched their mouths and was speechless. What does it mean that this old man brought his grandson with him and had an attitude of paying homage to the mountain? Are you Ace? At this time, Vice Admiral Tsuru spoke. Ace was startled when he heard this, and met Vice Admiral Tsuru's gaze with a very alert look. Don't be nervous, we are actually very happy that you can be a Navy. Vice Admiral Tsuru smiled and waved his hand, let the past be the past. Yes, you are a Navy now, this is a fact that no one can refute. Sengoku said in a deep voice. Akiji nodded in agreement, Akainu frowned and nodded for a long time. As for Kizaru, seeing that he looked absent-minded, no one paid attention to him. Ha ha ha, how is it? My grandson is pretty good. After the three left, Garp picked his nose and laughed. Humph. Conqueror's hockey is indeed excellent, but what does it have to do with you, an old guy? Sengoku squinted and said unconvinced, in addition to teaching the three people the 6 styles of the Navy, do you have any other role? Garp suddenly stopped talking, and said with his neck stiff, that's also my credit. Enough. Vice Admiral Tsuru held his forehead in annoyance, the 3 children are indeed very good, what do you think of Zephyr? Akiji said lightly, Teacher Zephyr has been admitted as an exception, and you don't need to participate in the remaining selections. Garp laughed proudly again after hearing this. Let's observe first, and then decide whether to stay or leave after the internship period is over. Sengoku made the decision. A week later, the Navy cafeteria. Boring training. Ace hung his head and said boredly. Zoro smiled, I think it's very interesting. There are too many swordsmanship masters in the Navy, and Zoro, who is fighting swordsmanship duels every day, has an extremely fulfilling life. That's right. Sanji, who spends the whole day in the cafeteria of beauties, is so happy that he almost loses his mind. It's so good to be a Navy. That beautiful vice admiral named Mamasaki looks like she's not easy to mess with. Of course, Colonel Tina is also very attractive. What about Nami? How does she feel? Sabo asked. Not bad. Nami nodded, Belmere is very happy, I think it's good too. Dang dang dang. Suddenly, Usopp, who had just entered the door, sat down next to Ace with a smile, look at what I have here. Everyone was startled and looked at Usopp, only to see that he was wearing a pair of small precision instruments as big as his arms on both hands, and the brand new goggles hanging on his forehead also shone with a metallic luster, which was obviously worth a lot of money. Ha ha ha. I love this place so much. Usopp laughed, look, this is the newly developed mechanical arm of the Navy science class, this is the latest windproof sight, and my slingshot weapon will soon be developed. Okay. The Navy Science Department, this kid really chose the right place. For a moment, everyone couldn't help but feel happy for Usopp. Don't fall behind in physical training. Luffy, who was eating, reminded. Hearing this, Usopp immediately cried and looked sad, it's been a week. For a whole week, I was pressed to the ground and beaten by that bastard John Tomro all day long. He also said that he would teach me hockey in a while. Zoro, not bad. Sanji, that's good news. Ace, I suddenly don't feel bored anymore. Luffy, by the way, where is Chopper? Sabo, I heard that the doctors there like Chopper very much, the kind that can't let go of him. Sanji, humph. Boring. Nami, a beautiful military doctor, bang. Sanji fell straight to the ground, his eyes full of envy. 1 year later, the Admiral's office at the Navy headquarters. Report. Trainee Marine Monkey D. Luffy is here to report.